Want to trade with Rithika? Join Chase at www.laductrading.com/chase.
Guys, hope you had a great week. So as we discussed last week, we pretty much had a small bounce into this 5,500 level, kind of went sideways. I thought we'd go a little higher to the top of this channel, 5,600, but we kind of just kept sideways. And you can see that we are kind of gapping down this morning. So scenario that we were looking at last week still kind of exists, that even if we do bounce, we likely reject 5,547, 600. It looks weak. We are gapping down. And you can see here that this morning we are kind of opening on this 5262 level. So this is important. If we break 5262, then it's very likely that we come down into 5143. And as looked at, we are very likely, we've discussed the bottom of the channel, we will come down to test the bottom of this channel before we have bounce. So that's still what I'm looking at. We are opening pretty weak to start this thing. Earnings season also is underway, so that's obviously going to play a role in how the market thinks. So I think it's safer to just kind of trade bubbles instead of making assumptions on how the market might move. And QQQ on the 4-hour, you can see that we did push to the top of the channel, but we rejected this trend line and now we're opening lower. So this 435 level will become super important. If we break 435, then it's very likely we come down to 418 and probably even test 385 level back down to the bottom of the channel. So that again is super important to keep an eye on, because this could end up being an ABC, in which case if this breaks, we're going to have a lot of selling in the market. So keep your eye on that to be for a more oversold bounce. I'd say 450 can go into 464. You need 464 to break to go into 483. So those are kind of your bearish and bullish levels. If you look at the chart of IWM, for example, you go to the daily chart, you'll be able to see that we did end up breaking this trend line, having a massive sell-off, and now we're digesting sideways. So again, any bounce that we have on IWM will reject, and we will, at minimum, we will retest 160 again on IWM. So I am still not bullish on IWM. I do think that any bounce will get rejected. So keep an eye for more weakness, given that we have broken down from the channel. We likely go back to the bottom of the channel. If you look at the wick clues, you'll be able to see that we've not broken below 29.30, which keeps it bullish, but we've not gotten over 37, which triggers more volatility. We're kind of chopping sideways, so you kind of need to see if we can break below 28, 27. That'll be a good sign that the market can get bid. You can see that it does have a gap to fill here at 22. So again, it does have a gap to fill to 37 too. So ideally you break over 37 to induce more volatility in this market. You look at the chart of the 10-year, you'll be able to know we actually held this breakdown, had the bounce, and now ideally would need over 4.5% to go higher. If we reject 4.3%, we're very likely going to come down to 4% and maybe even 3.8% on the 10-year. Dollar did make that new low. We expected about 97. We've come down to 97. You can see here, dollar could have a bounce here because this is a weekly long-term channel all the way from 2008. We're a little bit away from it, maybe a little more weakness, but we're almost at the bottom. So it'll be interesting to see how the dollar is going to have some oversold bounce. Even if it breaks, we will come back to retest into the channel. So it'll be interesting to see what we do here. Will we retest, bounce, and reject to come down in the scenario one, or will we bounce and keep going higher? So you'll kind of need to wait and watch what happens. With that being said, let's look at this week's watch. I know it has earnings. This is not an earnings trade. You can see here, ideally, I'm hoping that if we stay below 240, we will come down. We've broken down. I had a short last week as well. We hit some of the targets. Now, I do think that, see here, we are broken out of the channel. Now we're coming back into the channel. So the bottom of this channel is at about 204. So good thing at minimum, maybe we test 204. I don't have a prediction for earnings, just that I think Tesla in time has to retest this 166 before it begins a new bullish path. So I have no earnings prediction. I just think that maybe we sell off today right into that 210, 215 level. So you can make a good chase on Tesla. So the next one I have is silver. So last week we discussed bounce on silver. You can see we went higher. So now this week you will need it to hold over 29.830. You hold over 30, you will continue filling that gap into 30.65 and moving into 32. So still expecting it to bounce into the top of the channel on silver. So that's what I have on silver. The next one that I have on the 6 watch list is FedEx. And And we know FedEx this is almost a 1 year channel, years almost, that's broken down. Now any bounce it has likely going lower. We try to go sideways for almost 5, 7, 8 trading sessions. So I think any bounce it has will not get above. It is fib the top to the bottom. Here, this 208 is resistance. So as long as we stay below this, we very likely will come down to test 189. But again, bigger picture, if you were to ask me what's going to happen to FedEx, I think any bounce will get rejected and we will come back to test this low on FedEx just because of the chart doesn't look super bullish. So I think we will come back to test these lower levels at some point on FedEx. Last but not least, I have Baidu again. I wouldn't say I'm super bullish on this. I have that oversold bounce given that, see here, this is my 1, 2, my 3, my wave 4. We bounce again now for a wave 5. Now you go to the 4-hour chart. You could see that this again becomes your A wave, your B wave, and then we're pushing higher, right, for that C wave, or this becomes your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So ideally what you need to see is if Baidu, we hold the low at 80, then Baidu should easily be able to push higher. If you break this low and this base here, this level is a support level. You break this 80, then Baidu will sell off into 76, 74. So those are bullish and bearish levels on Baidu. And if you don't want to trade a risky one, you want to wait for confirmation, let it get over 83, 85, and then it can easily push into 90, 93. So yeah, those are your levels on Baidu. That's all I have for this week. I hope you have a great day.
Join Chase to trade with Rithika and other experts. Subscribe to LaDuc Trading YouTube channel for more Wolf's weekly wave list videos and other content.